in concerts. Well, if you are interested in music, I think you've observed that from December, January, February, there's been a lot of concerts, and your favorite artist might have actually had a concert, one or two somewhere, and you've attended. But the question is, do these artists actually earn from these concerts? Is the money that comes into them enough to sustain them? Or do they need to diversify the income streams that comes through these concerts? Well, to be part of the conversation, go to our social media platforms and use the hashtag Morning at NTV, that is on Twitter, which is X, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, and tell us, what do you think about our topic today? And in studio, I have a Congot, Geoffrey Jeff, interesting name. Sounds like an R&B artist of the 80s. The CEO of Uganda Musicians Association Secretariat, Andrew Kagwa, the usual suspect, who was in Kigali. He went alone, he didn't take any of us. And also on Zoom, I have Emma Carlos, who will be joining us later or soon. So, Emma, good morning.
Good morning, Matu, and good morning, viewers. I'm live direct from Gulu.
From Gulu, what are you doing in Gulu?
Lobbying spree.
All right, Emma, since you're on Zoom and you're in Gulu, and I am assuming that maybe the network might not be very stable right there, I wanted to start with you. What do you think about the concerts in Uganda? Are musicians actually earning from these concerts?
Thank you, Matu. We need to first identify who are the stakeholders in the concert business.
Indeed.
It's the artist who's the performer, a couple of artists who are performers, the promoter, the music promoter, and then the production houses like, let me say, ATS and Fenon of late, and a couple of other guys in the business. Now, to appreciate whether concerts are profitable of late, we need to put in context the budget that is needed to pull up a concert. One, of late, concerts internationally and both locally have not been profitable enough, due to a number of factors. Locally here, we have learned, and Jeff will compliment on that the cost of doing a concert show right now in Uganda is very, very expensive because of the publicity that is needed to pull off a concert, venue fees, multiple fees and permits, and what other factor? And technology, the growth of technology. However, there are discussions to help promoters and performers to earn profitably in these concerts. And some of the discussions include, but not limited to, supplementing on the ticket sales. And to do that, we have come up with a couple of aspects that we need to appreciate. One, there are actually four. The first one, am I being heard?
Yes, you are.
Good. The first one is, I will elaborate, let me first list them, the four, and then I will elaborate on them later. One, e-ticketing. Two, merchandise. Three, virtual getting the factor. We all know that in developed countries there's a culture of early bird. Early bird tickets give you an advantage that you will know the you will get even before the concert date. Even you. We need to adopt that. It has started and it's gaining traction with a few key ticketing companies. Then two, merchandise. We haven't adopted.
Emma.
What the culture of merchandise? What is merchandise? Merchandise is these are t-shirts, branded t-shirts, capes, wristbands, hoods. Artists need to go into this culture of merchandising.
Emma, I think
if she had
Emma, your network is jumpy. I think we shall let you go for a minute and just come back into the studio. And I'll start with you, Jeff. You are the CEO, Uganda Musicians Association Secretariat. Could you kindly tell us about the Secretariat first so that we get to know you and the viewers get to know who I'm speaking to?
Thank you very much. My name is Geoffrey Jeff Ekongot, and I am currently the CEO of the Uganda Musicians Association Secretariat. Uganda Musicians Association represents approximately 4,000 members, but has also lately diversified into the value chain. So we have managers, we have songwriters who are part of our bigger value chain of the music industry. That gives us a vantage point to support, to help build the industry.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to be a part of this conversation.
Well, we are glad to have you. We are glad to have you. And Jeff, I'll start with a simple question. Do musicians earn from concerts?
That's a very good question. Yes, musicians do earn from concerts, but like Emma said, there are other players that earn from that, and it depends on the nature of the deal. Usually, the typical deals are the promoter buys out the concert, sort of pays the artist, and then they take on the risks and also the profits or the opportunities that come with the concert. In some cases, the artists partner purely with the promoter, and they share the risks and the opportunities. And in some cases, the artists organize their own concerts and carry the risk solely. We've seen like APAS did recently. He didn't work with a specific promoter, except service providers, but he took the big chunk of the risk. The opportunity has been deteriorating in the concert space for a long time. So depending on the role you play, if you take on the former, where you get to just sign with a promoter and you get paid out, then you will profit, because then you don't get to take the risks with the promoter. Yeah. So in that case, those kinds of artists get to make money. But in the event that you decide to partner and you share the risks, or you solely promote your own concert and you take all the risks, that the profits are diminishing heavily. I would just like to shed some light on like some of the issues Emma was talking about. What defines the profitability is the volume of expenses. The lower they are, the more profit there is to make. In the past, they were much more clearer and they were less. But in the last, say, 15 years, that landscape has been changing so much. The other stakeholders who are just supposed to support, the concert ecosystem, have become, in a way, partners, indirect partners. Maybe to be more direct, I perceive them more as parasites now than a support system. I'll mention, for example, the government authorities, for example, the city authorities, they were part of the value chain purely to make sure everything is stable. For example, in terms of safety, in terms of security, in terms of, you know how concerts are usually, they come with volumes of funds bombarding venues. And sometimes there are risks with flowers in the city and different infrastructure within the city. And most times we find KCCA, like here in Kampala, KCCA will charge a fee to protect that. But it started out like a genuine issue. But now it's becoming a huge pain to concert promoters. Then there's the issue of, for example, security. Most times the police comes in the context of safeguarding, concerts, and it's a very serious issue. However, we've also come to observe over the years that security, or the police, is doing much more than just safeguarding concerts. They have actually infiltrated all the revenue points that could have made, could have helped promoters to turn a profit.
How?
There are several layers. Typically, from the outside, it appears all you need is to get a concert clearance from the police. But from the inside, it starts with you have to get a permission from the IGP's office. And right there, the bureaucracy kicks off. This bureaucracy now has become an opportunity for so many people. I don't want to mention exactly, but this is how it happens. Once you get the clearance comes with terms and conditions. You're required to get additional clearance from, say, the layers below. So from IGP's office, you go to the, like for Kampala's case, the Kampala Metropolitan Police Commander, then you go to the Regional Police Commander, then you go to the DPC, then you go to the local OC of the venue, near the venue where you are, and then there's other units of police, counterterrorism, all these parties, when you engage them, everybody wants a piece of the pie, one way or the other, whether it's official or not official. So you find that concert promoters are bleeding at every stage. All these were previously profits that they were supposed to retain. So you find a big chunk of their money gets lost in this whole bureaucracy and corruption in the whole chain.
What justification has been provided for all these parties to be involved in terms of security? Because I assume it could be embedded in the provision of security per se, as it's promoted in a way.
So the justification starts here. The legal framework regarding clearance of concerts was supposed to be the mandate of Uganda Communications Commission through the Public Entertainment Act, the Stage Plays and Public Entertainment Act, and the rules that support that act. However, for a while, this law was not operationalized. And that's partially the problem of UCC, because every time they've engaged in that space, they have not engaged holistically. They wake up and there's a fire situation, and then they get on board, and then they implement haphazardly. And they do not take interest into the concerns of stakeholders, but that's changing. Lately, they've been engaging with us, and they are beginning to listen. They're beginning to realize that it's important that you work with the stakeholders to implement these rules, not just come with a big stick and just come crashing into someone's space. These are livelihoods of millions of people. So it's beginning to take shape, but the problem is still there. The police is still charging lots of fees for clearance. Now UCC is also charging an official permit clearance fee, and
which was introduced.
Yeah, and the police doesn't have even the mandate in the law to charge for these fees, but they charge anyway. The UCC has the mandate, but they haven't stopped the police from doing that. So we have a parallel system where you're getting double billed.
Yeah.
You get double billed for the same things. So that's killing all the profits. And again, the other channels that could have redeemed the profitability of concerts, for example, like Amakalo says, merchandising, digital revenue, haven't yet fully been understood by the key stakeholders. I'll give you an example. For an artist getting to a concert, they shouldn't just primarily focus on the performance fees. They should start considering all the potential revenue streams. These are the 4 major revenue streams of artists. Music sales, which comes in the form of distribution through DSPs, then royalties, which come from licensing, then performances fees, and then merchandise. The problem is the artist is focusing on the performance fees. There's room for licensing, there's room for merchandising. For example, in a concert, when a concert takes place, it's not just about the production of the concert. The concert gets filmed. Yeah. When that concert gets filmed, a lot of copyright content is at play here. So which means the owner of that content being performed has an opportunity to dictate how that content gets used. 2, the promoter who is paying for the production of these concerts is also a producer. So legally, he's a copyright stakeholder as well. So he can also start making a claim. So there's room for them to strike deals on licensing this content, but the TV stations and the other third parties get to take all this content for free. So there's a huge opportunity. And now we have homegrown digital service providers who are beginning to really take advantage of this ignorance, take advantage of the fact that these players are not stepping up to the game to be able to take advantage of this growing opportunity. And the future is going to be heavily defined by mostly digital revenue. So it's an opportunity, it's a problem, but it's also an opportunity. If they recognize the opportunity, they'll be able to increase their profitability in concerts.
Indeed.
Yes.
So in all that you've said, Geoffrey, I have an inclination that musicians at the moment are not making money. Are they?
Like I told you,
the opportunities are immense, but they're at the moment they're not making as much as they could.
Like I told you, depending on the nature of the deal, they strike. They either make money or they. So it's in their hands. But there's a part that's not in their hands, which is in the whole industry to be able to act, to remove all these areas that are causing the industry to bleed. Like I told you, for example, if UCC is acting on permits, but is not concerned about how the same stakeholders are suffering on the other end, that's unfair. So it's work for us. That's the work we're trying to do in the background to ensure that there's fair play for everybody to be able to turn a profit and not just one side of the coin.
Andrew, you who talks to these musicians, I'm assuming you talk to John Legend when you're in Chicago. Is there money to be made? Because from what Jep explains, really, he outlines everything so much in detail that my mind is blown at how much opportunities do exist. But we keep hearing artists who continuously complain that they are not making money. And we've seen relationships cut because of an issue coming from, I made a concert, I didn't make enough money, etc. What's happening in your opinion?
Trust me, I've had those stories from artists where they tell you when they were performing, they were seeing a full house.
Exactly.
And then the promoter came and told them,
we didn't make money.
Which, personally, after talking to very many promoters, I got to understand why they do not make money, or why it's so hard to make money. One, everything he has outlined. But when you ask if there is actually money to be made, there is money to be made. And unfortunately, some people are making the money. It's just that those people that are making the money are not artists. Like, I was at a concert here, and I saw how people are being paid out who are not the artists, the service providers. Like service providers, when they do a show that has been very successful, they go back happier than the artists. Like you see 60 million being paid off, and trust me, the artists will somehow leave at times even with 300K.
What?
Like after everyone has been cleared. But I think it has been a problem worldwide. One, production became very expensive, and when production became very expensive, some people took the tickets way higher but found ways of getting other money streams, and other people didn't. I think we were some of the people that didn't. Like I usually tell someone that when I was in high school, I escaped from school to attend a concert. It was a Bebe Cool concert, and the ticket was 20K. And today those are 20 years ago, because it was 2005. And today we still have concerts at 20,000. Like, there is no world where that makes sense, that a concert is still at the same price
20 years ago.
20 years later. So we chose not to diversify when it comes to other revenue streams. Like there was a story I wrote after Sheba's concert, who is stealing Sheba's lunch. And that was after Sheba had a concert where she announced her pregnancy, but when you were in the audience and you saw the amount of business that was going on and she wasn't involved, people were buying bangles that had Queen Kama written on them. And that money was theirs. People were selling calendars, people were selling t-shirts, and some went as far as selling CDs. Like
they'll tell you they paid for the stalls, so
which money you were so sure wasn't going to Sheba. But then of course, after you travel and you see how other people are handling business, you realize that the promoters in other places are directly even involved in the food people are eating. It's not an independent vendor coming. The promoters are directly involved, and they are dictating how much a soda is going to be or how much a beer is going to be, because they have to make all this money back. They have to recover something. So people elsewhere are actually making money. And then at the moment, people have gotten onto streaming. Like I know when you talk about streaming, people will tell you the internet is slow in Uganda, but we have Ugandans in the diaspora. People have gotten onto streaming, and the latest I think in Africa has been Tyler, who had a homecoming concert in January, and it was streamed on Showmax. Trust me, Showmax paid some money. Probably a lot of money, probably even much more money than what, like if you put all the ticket orders together, sales, yeah. it could be much more money. So I feel like people elsewhere are making money. It's just in Uganda where we've been a bit slow when it comes to catching up on things.
So from what you've said, Andrew, and from what Jeff explained, other stakeholders are making money apart from the musicians themselves. So what is the issue? And I want to bring in Emma. I think we have him back. Emma, the question on the table is, other stakeholders like the promoters, the Bivulu, food providers, the lights people are making money from concerts apart from the musicians themselves. What is the problem?
Thank you, Matu, and viewers. For the record, we're in Gulu on official duty, and one of the aspects we are discussing is the dwindling revenues of concerts. Please allow me to go back to what I was discussing, because Jeff has ably discussed the problems of concert organization. I don't know at what point I was taken off.
So the last thing that we had from you, Emma, you had given some of the other avenues to diversify income streams for the artists, and you had mentioned e-ticketing and merchandising, and that's when we lost you.
Okay, let's go to virtual concerts or live streaming.
Indeed.
In 2023, the global market for live concerts or virtual concerts or live streaming was at $76 billion. I'm talking about $76 billion. And it's estimated that by 2031, it will be at $150 billion. What do I mean by virtual concerts or live streaming? It's a time when the concert is going on and you have a link where viewers all over the globe have paid and subscribed to watch that concert. The culture in Uganda has been that we have been letting YouTubers stream these concerts in the disguise or in the shallow perspective that they are promoting us. Steve Jin tried to put an end to this, but he received a backlash. However, this practice has started to receive traction. It started with Ragadi. When Ragadi told YouTubers that I want to give you access to my concert, of course, never take away Mbera. Then it went to EPAS. EPAS pulled it off well. We need to get into this market. We need to tap into this market. Then the other alternative is concert distribution. Jeff has talked about it, but he didn't give it broaden a wider perspective. That product that is produced on stage during the concert can be distributed on all these platforms, including YouTube. You guys remember very well when we were growing up, we used to watch Michael Jackson's concert. One of the most popular ones was one that he did in Munich, Germany, and then Tokyo, Japan. We used to get these concerts on YouTube after the concert was done. That's a revenue stream that we haven't been looking at. YouTubers and other social media influencers have been tapping into this content for free. We need to open our eyes. Like I've been telling you, Matt, we need a whole new cultural shift for this industry. We have to appreciate the fact that it's an emerging industry, but we need to start doing those practices. Let me give you an example of how much money a musician can lose when YouTubers stream his concert live. Imagine we have people in the diaspora right now in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, South Africa, Australia, UK, US. All these people are interested in our music right now. Imagine you have a link and everyone is paying a minimum of, let me say, $10, and you get 10,000 people. That's already 30 million for you, or 37 million for you. And this alternative, we haven't been looking at it. The discussions are there. I'm glad to mention that one of the biggest promoters, called Abitex, is with us right now in Gulu and is speaking these things. And is actually in one of the discussions we had with him, he said, I'll be even putting that provision within my TVC adverts, that for you who is outside there who can't come to the venue, you'll have this link so that you can stream the concert live. So to us, it's a wake-up call, and we're trying to push. Let me also compliment on what Jeff said about the multiple tax sessions and permits. We're trying to create a system whereby there's only one permit, that when you wake up in the morning and you say I have a permit from UCC, just to make sure that you align with them, that you're going to advertise, do public advertising, and maybe billboards and banners and posters. Then you go to police strictly for security. But a lot of money is lost in those bureaucracies, especially police and KCCA. So it's a wake-up call for all of us as stakeholders, so that we can all profitably gain from this other revenue of concerts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emma, Carlos. And just coming back into studio, Jeff, we talked about things like e-ticketing, distribution, licensing, etc. Let me start with the aspect of merchandising. Andrew has painted a picture of at Shiba's concert where people were selling CDs, T-shirts, bangles, and etc. What is the ideal way of doing it that will benefit the artists too? And how can it be managed? Because I can imagine these people who are the stall owners and the vendors will tell you, I paid my ticket, I paid a fee to be able to sell my merchandise in the concert. So what is the ideal way of doing it so that everyone earns?
You see, the professional way to do this is to appreciate the foundation that informs merchandising professionally, which is the law. The law is the copyright law or trademarks law. So merchandising mostly falls in the space of trademarks. An artist is a brand, and whenever their image is used, they have rights to decide how that image gets used. The problem is the artists haven't taken time to understand that space. What they need to do is to lawyer up and get lawyers. And we already have so many IP lawyers right now who understand that space and can advise on how to structure it. The thing also is when you set this up, there are levels to it. There's artists who want to do it the unprofessional way, just get some street guy and tell him, pay me some money and do this thing. But image rights are a huge thing, and it's big business worldwide. We could have more organized specialists who focus on signing image rights to be able to distribute merchandise for different artists. The same way record labels exist and they sign artists for music. In other cases, they also sign artists for image rights, where they are able now to have an exclusive license, not just at the concerts, but throughout the artist's career or throughout the period of the contract, which means they would take advantage of the concerts, but they would also take advantage of outside the concerts. If you like something about, say, Andrew mentioned Shiba's merchandise, I don't think fans are going to just buy the merchandise at the concert. The concert is a great time to sell more merchandise, but the fans can buy this merchandise anytime. So artists just need to get into this space. We, as organizations or associations, we are advising artists in all these areas. But maybe also just to jump back a little bit into the causes of the losses around concerts, is let's revisit the secondary issue that's causing this issue. This causing the problem around loss of profitability. The original premise of concerts in the 90s or before things started going downwards was that promoters or organizers of concerts were always expecting partners to offset most of the costs. For example, sponsors would pay for most of the media, because if you look at the biggest chunk of where the money goes into promotion, the money goes into production, the money goes into venue, the money goes into security and these other associated issues. Now, a big chunk of it goes into, like half of it goes into promotion. Then a quarter of it goes into production and venue. Then the rest share. Now, that 50% has been going down completely. In the past, sponsors, like the big corporate companies, would offset that cost, and that wouldn't eat into the profit from the tickets.
Indeed.
So the promoter would know that, okay, if my budget for this concert is, say, 300 million, 150 million has already been covered by a sponsor through ads. The money that I would have spent to take care of that part is being covered by the sponsors. But now the sponsors have almost become competitors. Or they don't want to no longer sponsor. They're also cannibalizing into the concerts. Some of the sponsors have started getting into the ticketing business. Yeah. So now they have a share on the tickets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two, they could have made things easier by covering most of the expenses so that they can take a cut of the tickets, but they are not even sponsoring as much anymore. We know most of these big brands who have entered into this space. Yeah. So the whole system is losing balance.
Losing balance.
Yes, the original balance that made it possible to get a clean cut was that these costs were covered. Even production most of it was always covered by sponsors, because the sponsors did value the endorsement role that the concerts play by giving them a share.
They're no longer doing that.
They're not valuing that.
So, Jeff, thank you so much for today. It's indeed a profound issue that needs to be talked about more and more and more, and I'm assuring you probably next week we shall be right back to look at what can be done and how can actually musicians earn from these concerts that they claim are not beneficial to them. And Andrew, in just 30 seconds, anything you want to say before we close up this conversation?
Yeah, just probably support what you were saying of how the sponsors have become carnivores to like for someone who needs to understand it is that most of the sponsors have created ticketing systems, and then the others just come to sell products. So they're even just coming to work, and they're very deliberate about that, and most of the times they make more business than the artist.
Well, thank you so much. Right about now, our conversation is going to end there today, but we shall be right back with the same conversation, hopefully next week, because there's so much to talk about. And at this juncture, I want to cross over to Mr. Stephen Mbide, who is at KCCA City Hall, and talking to Ras B. Sali. Mr. Mbide, good morning.